What's going on YouTube? Welcome to today's video. As you saw by the thumbnail and title, we're going to be talking about my testosterone. We're going to be talking about my blood. We're going to be talking about my blood levels and all the excitement that happened. It's common, maybe common knowledge, maybe not to you, but when you do an actual bodybuilding prep, when you get very, very lean, one of the trade-offs, and a lot of times people don't want to compete too frequently, is because your testosterone is going to tank if you get lean enough. People know this, and typically it's hypothesized, or as far as I've read, it takes like 1 to 3 months post-show for that to normalize. I got my data, so I'm very excited to share that with you and see if what I heard, what I read, is what actually happened to me. Before that, I do have this pretty sweet shirt. I'm not fat, just a little husky, so what's up, Elon? Kind of looks like Elon, so just wanted to say hello. Little boy. But now let's get to the less important part of this video. So I did take 3 blood tests, and this is going to be included in the case study, so I'm very excited for that, to have everything kind of evaluated by the researchers at Lehman. This is going to be included into all these case study checkups, and we're also continuing those up until, I believe, April, so very cool stuff. To start, so I did 3 separate blood tests. I'm going to give Nicole a chart, so this is going to be easy to follow. So my first blood test was done January 30th, 2019, so pretty much a year ago, and that was at 220 pounds body weight before starting prep 2 months after in March. So didn't diet yet. I was actually at the end of my bulk, so all my blood levels should be like pretty solid. Then the next blood test I did was 3 days out before my last show, where I was 192 pounds. Lightest I've been. According to InBody, I was like 5.8% or so body fat. Very lean, feeling the lethargy, feeling the fatigue. So I would guess my testosterone was not where it should be. And that's, again, this is something accepted. If you want to get lean, it's kind of, you know, the trade-off that's coming. Getting contest lean is not healthy. Don't do it. This was done at 11/13. So actually that was, I think, 3 days before the show, because that was 11/16. Then I just took a final blood test, second to last blood test, and this was 30 days post-show. So a 30-day follow-up to see where everything came back, and this was after I started the recovery diet, where I wanted to gain 5 to 10% of my body weight back in about 4 weeks. This was made by Dr. Eric Helms and Team 3D Muscle Journey, and I was like, hey, that sounds like a good idea to get your testosterone back quicker so you start making gains. If you stay in such a low test state, probably not going to be able to grow as best. A couple things to note before we get into this. Small changes in natural testosterone within the normal range doesn't really do much for you. If you're like 400 versus like 500, maybe 600, there's not going to be much difference. But if you are on like below normal or at the base of normal, like 200, and then you go up to 700, which is the higher end, maybe there's going to be a little bit difference in recovery or anabolism in the long term. So just wanted to start that off, make that known. But the natural or the normal range of normal for testosterone is 264 to 916 nanograms per deciliter. So 264 to 916. Before starting my diet, I was 543, so pretty much in the middle. I cycled off the steroids beforehand, but no, I'm just kidding. So I was 543, so within the range of normal. And then 3 days before show, where I was feeling pretty crappy, I went outside of the normal range. I went down to 197, 25 years old. I exercise frequently, relatively healthy dude, but just because I got my body fat so low, I was outside the range of normal. I could have been prescribed testosterone therapy at that time, so I could have hopped on the juice, but no. So I went from 543 before dieting to 197 when I was contest lean. So what happens here is, how long is it going to take me to get back to normal levels so I can really start making efficient gains? That's kind of the question that I had. And then I did my 30-day follow-up. I'm going to be doing a 90-day follow-up as well, so we can include this into the research with Lehman College. But 30 days post, 595. Very interesting. So I went 543 before dieting, 197 the base. I gained 15 pounds back, so did the recovery diet in 4 weeks, gained 15 pounds, 7.5% of my body weight. And so 30 days later, it was 595. Higher than before I started dieting, and I'm 13 pounds lighter. Is this a super compensation? I can't say for certain. Is it negligible? Yeah. I mean, testosterone throughout the day kind of like fluctuates, but 595 compared to 543 before even starting the diet. That's kind of interesting, but it's cool to see, and also it gives me, or maybe other natural bodybuilders, is like, oh, you can get right back to your normal testosterone and not take such a hit in your next year of progress by doing the recovery diet and getting that first initial weight gain, getting back to our normal body fat. So that's testosterone, we just covered that. I want to talk a little bit about T3. So that is my pharmacy degree is coming back, but pretty much is what's regulating your metabolic rate to an extent, your thyroid and everything, kind of shows how it's performing. Gives a little insight there, and it's cool these numbers do kind of reflect that. So the normal range for T3 is 2 to 4.4 picograms per milliliter, so 2 to 4.4 before starting the diet, so at 220 pounds last January. 3.0 was my my number. 3 days, so yeah, 3 days before the show, went all the way down to 1.4. Outside the range of normal, so below. So 2 to 4.4 is the range of normal, went down to 1.4. But after the 30-day recovery diet, I'm now at 2.7, so almost where I was previous. That kind of gives you a little insight into like maybe metabolic rate to an extent, because hypothyroidism, hyperthyroidism, shows that that can be, at least with normal individuals, those numbers can change depending on like your body weight, eating habits, etc. Maybe this could even provide like underlying stuff for future research. Maybe if you're just under eating for such a long period of time, it's slowing down your T3 production, and maybe that's sometimes where we get into those very low T3 levels. So interesting stuff here, but it's kind of cool to see that as my weight came back, that kind of normalized as well. So I just want to share this with you guys. I really did try to get as much data with this like prep as possible. Again, I read all this stuff beforehand. It's cool to really like see how it impacted me and give like kind of my case to you guys to if you want to do like a prep in the future or just like kind of for a learning experience. It's very cool. So again, testosterone went from middle of normal down to outside of normal at 25 years old because I got very lean, and now we're back to normal in only 30 days. So that's pretty much going to do it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hope this gave you a little bit of insight. Also, if you are going to do a contest prep, I think that this is good reasoning for you to do a recovery diet post-show instead of trying to really retain that leanness. I actually feel a lot bigger, fuller, and stronger in the gym right now, being 15 pounds up, and I don't really feel like I sacrificed too much in terms of leanness, but I was feeling a little skinny. So that's going to state my case. Definitely recommend the recovery diet post-show to get back to normal, hitting PRs. But thanks again for watching, guys. Like, comment, subscribe if you haven't already. Hope this gave you a little insight. I'll see you guys in the next video. Keep it flexible. I'm out.